What's up, everybody? I'm making a video today to address an article that came out today from Polygon.com. Polygon is a gaming news agency or network. Um, they they released an article today addressing Steve Machuga leaving Operation Supply Drop, who he was the founder. He founded Operation Supply Drop. Yesterday, Steve Machuga released a press release about his new organization, which is called StackUp.org. Immediately after, or almost immediately after, OSD, Operation Supply Drop, released a press release about the same thing, kind of. And there were some variants, but the general consensus was, hey, Glenn kicked Steve out, if you read between the lines. Polygon touches on it very briefly. Polygon's article, I was interviewed for this article, and it was my understanding at the time of the interview that this article was to give people that had ill experiences with Glenn or OSD a voice to speak out against or out for their cause and against Glenn. The article didn't come out that way, which is whatever. They can do whatever they want with it. I don't know. I can't speak to why they did what they've done, but they basically took no sides. They stayed very vague. They didn't post anything even remotely controversial. Maybe it was a very safe article. One thing I do want to address in the article specifically was one thing that I myself and it also it wasn't just me that was interviewed. From what I understand, there were about 12 people that were interviewed with similar stories to mine. If you're interested in my story and my experience with Operation Supply Drop, I'll put a link down below with my other video that basically tells my story of my time with OSD from January to July as an official director level for them. Sources tell Polygon that months before Avis Salute, those who have been verbally promised salaries either found those packages significantly reduced or were not offered them at all. I'm assuming that this isn't just me, because he does say source his. So I'm assuming that other people collaborated this as well during the interview processes. Glenn, if you read the wording that Glenn uses to respond to it, it's actually pretty telling. He says no promises were made for any employment, no promises whatsoever. Which he doesn't even say no promises were made for salary, which might be it might be just his way of answering. And if he's basically saying that this statement's not true, then it's a bold-faced lie. He promised me salary. He promised other directors salary in my company. And not only that, but then when he recanted and reduced that sum twice, he went into great detail in our conversations of, hey, I know I promised this, but we just can't do it because X, Y, and Z. So if he's saying that this statement up here is false and he never promised anything, then that's a bold-faced lie, which that wouldn't even surprise me with him. Glenn Banton's a very, very cunning business person. He will make a dollar out of a penny, any means possible, and he will use and abuse anyone that he needs to in order to get that dollar. Which is why he's such a great businessman, maybe, but that's also why everybody that I know, I'm pretty sure that everybody in general hates people like him, because he doesn't have any conscience. He will take advantage of you. He will steal your money and use it to his benefit. He'll steal your time and never pay you back for it. But beyond that, he says that another thing that is another bold-faced lie in here. It says, in general sense, to anybody who's seeking employment for a position within Operation Supply Drop, the expectation is they're going to have a role, which my role changed at least 3 different times while I was there. That's defined with metrics associated with it. I'm not sure what the metrics actually means. I'm assuming, because it states right here, responsibilities, that is, I'm assuming that's what he's talking about, with each role is going to have responsibilities associated with it. Problem with that is he specifically told me while I worked there, and when he offered me a job, that hey, this is a brand new position. No company ever has had this position. We don't have any parameters for you. We don't have any set responsibilities. We're just all learning as we go. And so that's another lie right there. I do find it funny again in this article, and I'll link this below for anyone who wants to read the whole thing. It's a good read. It's missing a lot, like I said. The the other thing was that Polygon said that they reached out to other members of Operation Supply Drop and board of directors, and Glenn was the only one to get back to them. Which again doesn't surprise me at all. Glenn he's the first one to tell everyone else to shut up so he can talk. First one to badmouth somebody that says something wrong. In my time from January to July there, I can't count on my hands how many times he badmouthed Machuga behind his back or to his face even. So my thing is this guy is lying to vets. He's taking advantage of vets. He's stealing from vets. He stole a charity from a vet. And the whole time he's saying that he's helping veterans. He's saying the Operation Supply Drops for veterans. It's really not. You know, whatever aside from the occasional, supply drop, which does help. And as a combat veteran myself, I know the benefits of gaming while deployed or while becoming a civilian, transitioning and dealing with emotions and stuff. I know how it helped me, and that's why I got involved in the first place. But let's meet Glenn real quick, because a lot of people don't realize that Glenn isn't a veteran. Glenn is this guy. This is a picture from 2011, before he was with OSD. In 2014, became part of OSD, and he started dressing like this. I'm a Cav Scout. That's a fucking Stetson. The only people that have any right to wear a Stetson is cavalry. This is a fucking civilian, has no right whatsoever to be wearing a Stetson, and here he is fucking showing it off and advertising it like he's building his persona, like he can relate to veterans by looking like them. As a veteran myself, I know that that's the quickest way to build a ton of distrust, and it's borderline stolen valor if you ask me. Another thing he'll do is he'll dress up like this, like an AR, silencer, look, army boots, camo, fucking, I'm pretty sure those are the plastic gloves. Walking around like a Delta operator or some cool guy with his beard, again, trying to be relatable to veterans in active duty, but he's not. He's not whatsoever. He's a liar. He will do whatever he has to do to make that buck. So enough about him. He's a fucking tool. Fuck him. Back to Steve Machuga. Steve Machuga, combat veteran, started Operation Supply Drop, and is now, after maybe out of some ill trusting, some bad trusting the wrong people, maybe some little bit of naivety, if you will, if that's a word, basically let himself get into a position where Glenn was able to take the charity away from him. Steve, though, is saying, I don't care what name I'm under. I don't care where I'm at. I don't care what's going on. I'm going to help veterans. I'm not going to go to court with OSD for my organization that I built from scratch from my fucking garage, because then I'd be wasting money that could be going back to veterans. I'm not going to put that money back towards such a scumball like Glenn. Instead, I'm going to keep doing my mission. And that's what he's done. Less than 2 weeks since all this stuff went down, he's already got stackup.org going, started, like, supported. So here's my thing, my challenge to you guys is, Steve, no controversy whatsoever. Streams, very personable. He wants to make a real impact on a few veterans or however many veterans. But while Glenn wants to be like Wounded Warrior Project and be all political and be so disconnected from the people that they're actually helping, yeah, they still help. I'm not saying that it's a useless organization, but there's no real personable aspects to an organization that big. That's like it's not possible. Whereas Steve is saying, you know what? I would rather bring one person or five people all the way from wherever they are to PAX to give them a weekend paid for, do all this stuff for them, really make an impact in their life, give them a good memory, a good experience, versus Glenn's prospect of I want to be like Wounded Warrior and send him a hat every week or every month. What good's a hat gonna help your PTSD? What good's a hat gonna help your suicidal thoughts? But you come to PAX for a weekend, and I've been to two of them this year, and you make connections, you make friends, you get an experience, you get some cool stuff, you get to experience a new city. Like that's something that will take your mind off and help build, hopefully, into gaining a community or gaining some sort of friendship through the web that will actually benefit you with your PTSD or suicidal thoughts or whatever. I know this personally because it's done that for me. That's what gaming's been for me. And I was just as naive as Steve was, and I trusted Glenn blindly, and I got fucked over. The difference between me and some of the other people is I'm not bashful. I don't have a problem coming out and telling people about it. So, but it's time to move on per se. You know, before this, OSD was the only option to support vets through gaming. Now that there is a true, honest option to go through to support, to actually help veterans, to give back to veterans, I know where I'm going. I know that I'm not going to continue to support or even continue to speak the truth about Glenn. I've made these two videos, in order to hopefully maybe give someone a moment of pause or to stop a veteran from going through what I went through. I hope to God at least I can help one person. If I can help one person, stop one person from wasting hundreds of hours and thousands of their own money, their own disability money, helping this man screw over people, then it's worth it. But what's worth it right now is continue to help vets, continue to give back, continue to do whatever I can to help those that are going through the issues that I've gone through and I'm going through. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm choosing stackup.org, and that's where my home's going to be from now on. So have a blessed day, have some awesome games, kill some people, rage a lot, have some fun, and take care till next time, guys.